you're looking for a new invoice financing solution for your recruitment business, I highly recommend Zodec. Zodec have a relationship-based, courteous approach and a professional approach to working with their clients. So whether you're a startup or an established business, they offer you a range of financial and back office support solutions that will suit your business and are specific to your requirements and your goals. Whether you're in the tech sector, education, recruitment, manufacturing, engineering, whatever sector you're in, they look after the majority of them. So get in touch with Zodec at zodec.com or on the link below. Welcome back to another episode of RecTalk. I'm your host, Nitin Sharma, the founder and CEO, blah, 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 whatever, of RecTools.io. RecTools, as you probably know by now, is the largest and only whole-of-market supply directory for the recruitment industry. So if you're in the recruitment supply chain and you provide a product or service into the recruitment world, get yourself listed for free. The link will be in the bio. It's rectools.io/get listed on RecTools, I believe it is. And yeah, get yourself a free listing. You can claim your page and benefit from a whole host of different things, which we can talk about on a Teams call if you're so inclined. But that's enough of that. I wanted today to put a bit of a spotlight on one of the vendors who partners with us and works a lot with RecTools as a platform. So my guest today is Jeremy Snell. You'll know him from the 4D Recruitment Method podcast.
Correct.
And the Rookie2Recruiter platform.
Indeed.
And so we're here today just to kind of go through what these things are. I want to know more about this 4D recruitment method.
Sure.
And really dig into that.
Okay.
And we'll do a bit of a refresher for some of the new listeners about Rookie2Recruiter, what it is, what it's about, that kind of thing.
Sounds good.
Mate, first of all, obviously appreciate you travelling down here for the second time. This is your second appearance on our podcast.
Thank you.
And yeah, hope you're all settled in and ready to go.
Very comfortable, thank you.
Good man, right. So look, let's jump straight in, right? What Rookie2Recruiter, is it a Ron Seal thing? Yeah, that's what it does, sort of says on the tin.
Very much so. It's designed for businesses who are looking to scale, businesses who want to scale, particularly by bringing in rookies. Often business owners know that the challenge can be finding the time and the resources to be able to ensure that they're getting up to speed quick enough. So plugging them into the platform gives them access to a carousel of training content.
Okay.
But where it starts to stand out is you consume a small piece of training and then you do a sizable activity that embeds the content that you've consumed.
Okay.
So rather than binge,
and is it live? Is it a live activity then? So give me an example. What's something that they'll do the training in, and then you'll be like, right, okay, now go and do it.
So they could do some training which may revolve around, say, lead generation.
Okay.
We share different tactics to be able to generate leads from different types of sources.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's then a digital checklist that they then go through to be able to complete a series of activities which become mini missions. So they go off and complete the mini missions, a bit like an Easter egg hunt. They go off, they then log what they've done in the platform, the one-way mirror that exists for their manager can see their progress through that too.
Right, okay, cool.
So there's kind of the freedom that they can go and forage and they can do their job and they can add value whilst being within the confines of a wireframe, which is a proven process.
Yeah.
And a business owner has got that surety to be able to, if they so desire, to have a look and think, where are you up to with this thing? What have you been doing most recently? Maybe get involved with some smart coaching questions, because we've got the program that's also for the owner on how to be able to coach performance.
I was just going to say, there must be an element of then, like you said, the business owner having to kind of level up themselves, right? Because
yes.
they don't know what you're teaching essentially, unless they're involved in learning it themselves, right?
Yeah. So there's two tiers to that as well. For those who feel as though, I'll put it politely, they just want to refresh because they're busy. There is some very distilled content on performance. If they're looking for something which is more immersive, perhaps for themselves or for a team leader or a manager, they can go through a full program which I commissioned to have done by Mike Watman, the performance coach. So he's created content that sits inside for performance development of managers. Right,
okay, cool. And so what's the length of time that you usually see people on this program for?
For somebody to go through it comfortably, to complete the actions, the activities, and for the learning to start to embed.
To go from rookie to recruiter.
You're looking at somewhere in the region of 16 weeks.
Okay, fine. So it's not. This isn't your way of kind of going. All right, yeah, this is a 3-year program. You need to.
It's the start that people need to form the good habits. And once they've completed that program, they can then move on to the next phase. So there is then additional content which is designed for more experienced recruiters. So they could complete the initial program, perhaps spend 3 months really embedding those skills, and then come back to the platform to do the more advanced content and to be able to level things up.
Okay.
And in fact, quite a lot of the businesses who subscribe to it put experienced consultants through either the sales accelerator, which is a really nice booster for people to reassess where they're at from a sales perspective, or to go into the advanced recruiting course, which looks at the entire 360 process to help somebody to identify.
I suppose it's a good way of ironing out kind of bad habits and stuff as well, right? Kind of remove the old stuff that, you're doing a lot of this, you need to be doing. Yeah, fair. Okay. And so I imagine then this is more for your smaller SME businesses, or if I'm a business owner that's got an L&D person, not necessarily a division, but an L&D person, is that platform going to support that person, or is that going to kind of be like a clash of styles?
We have L&D managers who have used the 14-day free trial to sniff about and have a little look and see what they think, and then they have brought people into the program, because if more of their time is being spent with the experienced, and they're still looking to bring people in to have a trusted source of content that they've lost. Because if the language is in the right place, the flavour is good, it gives them the opportunity to focus their efforts elsewhere without feeling as though they're compromising the business on training quality.
Okay, fair.
And
what's the engagement level though? Because again, for people like me, I get more out of I wouldn't even say classroom environment, because I can't sit in a classroom environment. It needs to be a lot more engaging, right? For me, I can't do e-learning, and so is that an issue then? Do you know what I mean? Does that cause problems for engagement levels? Because obviously most recruiters are very kind of like
It's probably the most common objection that we hear before somebody signs up is their perceptions of, well, it's just not as engaging, is it? And it's almost like an assumption that I'm already compromising because I'm going to plug people into something that can't answer questions. As soon as people do the trial and they start to consume the content, I've been doing this for long enough. I know that what you do online is going to be very different to what you do in a classroom. Yeah. You can't spend half an hour going through a slide deck, talking at people who you can't even see about the content that you're trying to put in. You need something that gives people more invigoration. So it's very bite-sized in terms of content. No video is longer than 12 minutes. Okay. And in every single video, it takes a very core subject, unpacks it, signposts the activities, and then as they do the activities, each week they can join for an accountability and coaching session, which I run live. So every Tuesday I'm there for 90 minutes. People can either ask questions that revolve around something that happened in the past, like this guy said to me yesterday, what could I have done differently? They can ask questions about the future. I've just done the session on lead generation, Jeremy. I'm going to start the activities. Right, yeah. What would you recommend that I do? Okay. Or they might talk about the content. I had somebody last week say, I recruit dentists, and I just want to ask a few questions to help me to process it in the world of dentistry. Whereas someone else who may be recruiting data analysts might want to ask a question about... Which makes sense, because this is your way of being able to kind of support more recruiters rather than the traditional... I go into a business, speak to a team of 10 recruiters, that's taken my whole day. I can only do so much of that at one go, right? In terms of this particular platform then, so Rookie2Recruiter, is that UK specific? Do you have people signing up to it kind of outside of the UK? Yeah, we've got people signed up who are in Dubai, we've got people signed up in California. We've got people who sign up all over the world. But the market's not different though, is it like recruitment markets in general in other countries? The nuances of the markets isn't necessarily the primary emphasis of the content. The content is about what does good recruitment look like, what are the right
Fundamentals
skills to develop.
Yeah.
How
I'm with you.
do you get the most out of the raw kind of attitude and competencies that you've got to help you to get good? When we look at the advanced content, perhaps that's a little bit more kind of UK, US kind of centric, but there's plenty of people out there that would be able to consume it and be able to interpret, how do I make this work for me?
By that point, you're in a different kind of mindset and skill set, aren't you? So you should be able to. You don't need it to be sector agnostic. You can move.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fair. And so you've got the Rookie2Recruiter platform. So then, where does this 4D recruitment method fit into your proposition? Because you're still doing training, aren't you? You're still doing L&D sessions and that kind of thing. And so tell me about this the 4D recruitment method. Let's start there and then let's kind of unpick that a little bit.
A little bit of backstory.
Go on.
So I was running a workshop for a business in Manchester. The business was looking to increase traction with existing customers, new business, basically increase fill rate, increase clients' perception of value, charge more money per transaction.
Yeah.
So I did some work with them where we started to build. We created the building blocks for what a good service offering would look like internally, and then we packaged it as to how we could start to sell it component by component to a client.
Okay.
That created messages that meant that it was no longer about we're better than other agencies because it became we are.
It shouldn't be about that anyway, right?
Because.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And because what we do is different, and because we can actually showcase it to you physically, you can start to look at it and translate it relative to the problems that you know that you have, that are bigger problems than just having empty vacancies. So rolling that out with those consultants, and those consultants.
But were you doing in that scenario then? But were you doing the process different to what do you know what I mean? Or
yes.
Or were you just marketing it as an
different.
alternative solution? No, right. Okay.
At the point of actually doing the pieces of work.
Yeah. So what you were actually doing was different.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. That's a radical change then, isn't it? So it's not just okay. Yeah.
Yes, which is why at the end of the session and then subsequently in the follow-up session, the average tenure of consultants who went through it was 10 to 12 years, and the feedback was this is the first time I feel like I'm actually doing something which is a valuable service that someone will want to buy, and the guy who said that to me said it's like I'm recruiting in 4D. And when he said it was like recruiting in 4D, like that whole thing just started to make me realise, well, for me this is like the culmination of everything that I've learned 30 years in recruitment, everything that I've learned by doing it personally, everything that I've learned by making mistakes, everything that I've learned with 13,000 consultants that I've trained.
Training them, sending them out to the field, listening to where they've struggled, and you've gone.
I'm bringing it all
this
together.
This is the way to do it.
This is the wireframe that will make the difference.
Okay.
And credit to that guy for calling it 4D. So I had that, and serendipitously, luckily, I was reading this book that was all about product design, and it spoke about the 4Ds of product design.
Yeah. Okay.
So going through the 4Ds of product design, then getting the feedback from somebody that I now for the first time feel like I'm recruiting in 4D, I thought, well, this methodology has got so much value that I think that I could.
Yeah. So this wasn't just a hey GPT, help me name my new recruitment method. Yeah.
And now that it's trademarked, the goal, like the long-term goal, will be organisations that are not recruitment businesses will look for companies that are following a methodology, which is the 4D methodology, because the intention is to market it to companies to say this is how you can start to find that kite mark, that proof that this business underneath the bonnet.
It's like it's sort of almost like the agile methodology in software development, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that became the thing.
Yes.
No, we only build in agile, and you have to have gone through that sort of almost that course or understanding of what agile is to be able to go, yeah, okay, we're going to change how we deliver software in that methodology rather than the old waterfall method. Okay.
Now the classic objection that people hear in recruitment, often on the subject of price, it starts with a reference to unnamed agencies and then a reference to a lower price point. So they say other agencies are willing to do it for less. And no one really talks about what it is. Like what,
you
what
can
actually
you
are
can
they
argue
doing?
that price is an issue in the absence of value, right? So you've almost got to kind of be like, if your prospect is telling you that, well, X, Y, and Z can do it, like you said, it for cheaper. First of all, what is it? Because what I'm doing better not be the same as what they're doing. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Otherwise, it should be roughly the same price, right?
Yeah, that's right. It shouldn't be, you know. And then it sort of, but if the price factor is your driver, then you're not my ideal customer profile. I shouldn't be talking to you.
But if the market's been conditioned that the primary difference is price, and it is roughly the same.
But it's establishing that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I have this this is an old wrestling analogy that like I'm going to be doing an episode soon actually with somebody in the wrestling industry who's also in recruitment, because there's a lot of crossover in a lot of the language and a lot of the terminology and methodology. But
like
see,
SmackDown.
yeah, like that, yeah, like rock bottom, yeah. No, so it's when there's an issue with a proposal, or when there's an issue with a member of staff, or whether there's an issue, whatever it is, generally things come down to one or two things: cash or creative, right? It's either one of those two. And so if you're sat with a prospect that's sitting there going, wow, such and such an agency is doing it for 10%, 12%, 15%, whatever the rate they're throwing at you can't just take that at face value. You've got to figure out, right, is this a cash issue or is this a creative issue? Because the product could be absolutely phenomenal. Ferraris are great cars. I can't afford one. So my issue with that is cash, not creative.
Yeah. And I really want one because I can't put a trailer on it.
Right, this is it, right? So exactly. So it's your issue with it would be, no, creatively it's not right for me. What I look for and what I want, that doesn't suit my needs. So the cash, so I could come down on my price of my Ferrari and be like, look, you told me you're willing to pay 25 grand for a car. I will sell you this Ferrari for 25 grand. You're still gonna be like, I don't fucking need it. I can't do anything with this. It doesn't fit my creative, right? Yeah. Whereas for me, it'd be, 25 grand. Yeah, I'll take that because that now fits my cash, right? And so I used to say to our guys all the time, you've got to figure out if it's cash or creative. Like everyone is conditioned, as you said, to be like, find a better deal. You know, tell them that this agency is doing it for cheaper, that agency is doing it for cheaper. Well, that's well and good, but if price is your driver, we shouldn't be having a conversation. You know, you can't walk into, you won't go into Waitrose and expect to spend Aldi money, right? Or Lidl money. You just can't, right? So if that's your driver, then you got to come with like filter that out. You know, what did Benjamin calls it, qualifying out, right? They qualify out rather than qualify in, and that's a big mind shift change in recruitment, because I think recruiters tend to just want to cast the net far and wide and have as many leads as they can, because that means their pipeline looks bigger. And
the question comes up too early, so it should actually be put to one side for a moment to have a better exploration before we bring the question back.
Yeah. Does the client truly understand what it, like you said, is? Because if the client thinks that it should be this much in terms of price, well, you haven't explained it properly. Because if the it is in the proposition of what you plan to do and aim to do, and the service you provide, you know, is that level, they shouldn't have an issue paying for it.
No.
Hence it being only an issue in the absence of value. They don't see the value.
And that shifts them from fishing or shopping on price, and it now becomes a creative. Because suddenly it's like, so the Ferrari's got a built-in trailer.
Exactly, right.
I understand.
Okay, this might fit my creative then. Because cash isn't the problem. Or there's an alternative solution to whatever it might be.
It was my perception of the creative relative to what I was going to use.
Because again, taking it back to the recruitment industry, the perception of what recruiters do is you just go on job boards, you put adverts out, you speak to a handful of candidates, you fire CVs over. That's all you do. That's all you do. And if that's all you do, then that's all I want to pay.
Correct. That's got a residual value of 12%. Yeah.
In which case, fine. If that's and then that's a big thing that you got to kind of like, because I'm doing a bit of mentoring work for
a handful of like start-up agencies and stuff, and we always have that conversation. Well, what's your service?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to up your fees, that's great. You want to work retained, that's great. But what's the service?
Yeah.
If the service that you're providing is jumping onto CV Library as soon as a vacancy comes in and trying to find the first 10 active candidates who logged in an hour ago so you can get hold of them on the phone,
Yeah.
fucking hell, you don't deserve any more than 12%.
No,
Like, really, you should be saying thank you for that 12%.
And the more you can show, the more you can actually document evidence, the more tangible it becomes. And the more tangible it becomes, the easier it is to actually picture using it. If you just talk at somebody about what you do, it's very difficult for them after you've left to really picture, what am I buying here? Other than words.
What's the value? Yeah. No, fair. Okay, so we've got this 4D recruitment method that you've trademarked, you're taking it out. And so what is this? This is for recruitment agencies and business owners to go, that sounds like the way we should be doing business.
Yes.
Let's enroll on this. Let's pass the accreditation.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Let's get...
This isn't just a, Jeremy, how much to get signed off on your 4D method, so because my clients are starting to ask for it now. You know what I mean?
So as you do the work and you start to adopt the methodologies,
Right.
you start to utilise the tools, you can join 4D, you can go through a program, you can build it yourself, or you can invite me to help you and I can do some construct work with you. So it's either...
But this is a big journey you're embarking on then, because you're trying to change... I'm trying to be kind of like fair to you, because I completely agree with what you're saying, but you're trying to change the way an industry operates, the perceptions of clients and how the industry should operate, the status quo. You know what I mean? Like, I've said a number of times on this podcast that like, I truly believe to succeed in today's market, you've got to be the colour red in a sea of black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're doing that, which is, that's a big thing to take on.
Yeah, I call it Blue Ocean in the podcast.
Right.
Helping recruitment companies to build a bluer ocean so that it becomes a more valuable proposition for themselves. But you're right, it is a lot to change. One recruitment business at a time.
Yeah.
And getting enough recruitment.
Well, you did it with one, and they've seen the results, and then so there's your case study,
Yeah.
and so it's sort of like.
Well, there's multiple businesses that I've done it with. It was that final one that really like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so you've got a history of what this works and evidence of
the
that.
proof is there.
Yeah.
That within 2 weeks they had over 150 grand's worth of pipeline.
Amazing. Yeah.
Across 4 consultants. It was just a big transition for them. And you know, just for them to be able to see, intrinsically we haven't changed who we are in terms of our values or what we're doing. There hasn't been a great deal of true upskilling to be able to change how we sell. What we've changed is what we deliver, which now means that it is more appropriate for the marketplace that we want to serve.
Okay. So, but then on that, then does that mean that any and every recruitment agency can make the shift?
Can, yes. Will?
Oh, will was it? Yeah. I mean,
That's
look.
different, yeah.
There's towns that go and open up fixed fee recruitment businesses because
Yes.
I think that's going to change the recruitment market, right? And a lot more power to them. Like, far be it for me to tell them they're wrong, but they're wrong, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. So, because I'm trying to, is this, and this is me playing devil's advocate and this is not what I think, because I've got far more respect for you than that, but is this just not another way of badging up the word retained recruitment?
No. I think what it does is it gives you the opportunity, if you want to be retained, to have some vehicle to be able to get money at the beginning. However, it fundamentally changes how you deliver what the client needs, because it starts with a better quality discovery process that is very little to do with the job and far more about actually understanding the client, their journey, their direction, and how they go about recruiting and the challenges that they face with it to actually make their engine room better before you even start hiring. Because if you can help your clients to develop better internal mechanisms to be able to do what they do.
It's a consultancy
You can then deliver
method,
to it.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than okay. So
So at the front end, it is a very consultative process. And I know there's lots of people in recruitment who go, but we're really consultative when we get a job. We do. It's less about like the job's over here. Like the job doesn't really matter.
picking up the vacancies further down the process.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's a big shift in this, right? Because again, there's a lot of people who, sort of 2020 onwards were vacancy chasers, right? I call them ambulance chasers, right?
Yeah.
In the I can see you're hiring. I've got the perfect candidate for you. Fuck off, you don't know if it's perfect.
Yeah.
And you can see I'm hiring because what you saw an advert on Reed or Total Jobs or whatever, right? You saw that I'm hiring, and so now all of a sudden you want to build a relationship with me. It's weird, that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you're telling me that you want to do business with me, but only because you can see the opportunity.
Yeah.
Not because you are truly a specialist in your field, or you truly feel like you can add value, but because you're just looking at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. I liken it to my youngest. She'll come and she'll say, "Daddy, I'm hungry." I'll go, "Okay, yeah, fine. I'll make you something to eat." Like, do you want orzo? No, I don't want that. Right, okay. What do you want? What do you want? Oh, I don't know. I'm hungry. Okay. Do you want some fruit? No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. And then I'll work down, and basically she wants a chocolate, right? That's what she wants.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, fucking say that,
Mm.
right? If you say, "Daddy, can I have a chocolate, please?" We get straight to the point,
Yeah.
and I can say yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having to go through this fucking journey of you telling me you're hungry and your tummy hurts and you're really, really starving and whatever, and it's all bullshit.
Mm.
And it's the same thing. It's like, oh, you know, we're specialists in this field, and like, you know, we work with a lot of your competitors, and we felt like now's a good time to build a relationship. No, you've seen that I'm hiring, that, or you know that somebody's left my team, and now magically you've propped up. And so there's so much of that happening in the recruitment world where they're chasing live vacancies, then wondering why they can't build a relationship.
Yeah,
Whereas, I mean, I was at RecFest, we did the talent acquisition versus agency podcast with the TA perspective. And they were all saying, we want agencies that A, are going to add value to what we do, and B, we want them to build relationships with us because they are genuine specialists at what they do, not because they're just chasing a fee.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them to kind of be like, hey, look, I know you're not recruiting right now, or you might not be recruiting right now, I don't know. What I do know is that you're in this field, I'm in this field, we do all of this stuff that could be valuable to you and your HR team and your finance director and your marketing director or whatever. We should sit down and jump on a Teams call, we should explore this. We need to collaborate, you know. And it's that kind of thing where the vacancy will come.
But that requires more planning, more thinking,
Financial runway as well, though.
better approach.
It requires financial runway, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
If
yeah.
I'm a business owner and I'm like, okay, I need to accept that my guys are now going to move to this relationship-based model, and they're going to go after, you know, targeted clients who we want to be doing business with from a reputational perspective and a longevity perspective.
Mm.
And that might take me 3 months before I even pick my first actual like strong lead that's retained or whatever. But have I got 3 months runway? Could I go 3 months without billing?
If you're
Or the majority of my team not
if
billing?
you're trading, you'll already have a legacy base of clients
Mm-hmm.
to be able to go back to. If you're a startup, you'd want to be a startup that has a bit more financial security than. I've only
But it's the
got
better,
3 months
yeah.
to
But it's
do
the better
something,
way of
right?
doing it, isn't it? Rather than
This
being like
is-
chasing your tail.
This is where a lot of startups get stuck because at the very beginning they're chasing cash flow, and because they're chasing cash flow, they compromise on process and they compromise on planning. And when they compromise on process and planning, they start to win lower grade business because they compromise on what they're willing to do
Yeah.
because they're chasing down the invoice.
We did it. We did it.
Things end up in
Our first vacancy we picked up was 10%.
Yeah.
And they hired multiple times then, later that year and the year after, and every fucking job we worked with them had to be 10%.
Yeah.
Because that sounded great, you know. Earning $3,500 in your first month sounded great when you first set up and you're like, yeah, my bills are due soon, I better get something in.
Yeah.
But 6 months, 12 months down the line when you're like, okay, so we've got all this other work going on, it's all at 15, 20, 25%, and now I've got this client who we have filled with, we've got a great relationship with it, and they're giving us roles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at, oh shit, I've got to do 10%. Yeah.
I got engaged by a client maybe 7 years ago that was 5 years trading, and the two business owners, one of their largest accounts was an account that had helped them to be able to start the business, was very low margin, and they were angsting about, we don't know how to go to them now to say that the prices are going up because you don't want to lose them, but at the same time we don't want to carry on working with them, and you could see it was like a turmoil thing. So I spent half a day with them just role playing. I'll be the client.
What if in this scenario?
Let's do the phone call, let's do the meeting, let's throw some rocks at what might happen, let's do it again, let's do it again. And the funny thing was, all of the work that we put into it, when I actually got there to say, we need to talk about, even before they finished saying it, they went, prices are going up, aren't they? We thought you were going to do this last year. And it was just, no problem.
Yeah.
You're like, we're really happy.
Because we make it an anxiety. It's like anything though, right? We have consultants that do that. Oh, I don't want to call them. Oh, the client's going to be pissed off if I call them. They hear from all recruiters all day long and they get pissed off, and you're just like, you've now made it, my little daughter calls it the worry monster, right? You're feeding the worry monster, and now all of a sudden the worry monster's massive. When actually it was a tiny little thing in the first place, and you could have just brushed it off.
Don't tell her what I call it. I call it the shitty committee.
The shitty committee. I like that.
Yeah, the shitty
I'll tell my
committee,
oldest that. She'll like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, I learned a new swear word today.
Yeah, when the shitty
can I
committee
say
kicks
it?
in, that's it. and you talk
That
yourself
is true. Yeah.
out of so much.
But then that's the same. That kind of behavioural sort of faux pas sort of carries on, right? So as then a business owner, you create this fucking monster in your head about, like, I can't change my business from this model to this model. I can't shift to retained. Or I can't shift to the 4D method because I can't do it. What if my clients say no? What if they laugh me out the building? And it's like, yeah, what if they don't?
Yeah.
Like, how much fucking happy are you going to be then, right? Yeah. No, it's fair. It's interesting how I think now is a very, very good time for this, because it's in my experience, and I'm not sure whether you've seen this or not as well, but the old way just ain't working anymore. You know, bash the phones harder.
Yeah.
Dial it out more. You'll speak to more people, and cast the net as fucking wide as you can, because we need more results. And it's like, okay, annoyingly that worked post-pandemic.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, you know, there was 2022 where everyone was flying because you literally had to sneeze in the direction of a vacancy and the client would say please, because we're desperate for people. And then 2023 hit and everything was like, no, yeah, I don't want to work with you. Yeah, you're not happy. Yeah, and
I do slightly want to defend the word more. There is nothing wrong with doing more if what you're doing works.
More of the right thing is great.
But if you do more, let's do more of something that we've proven doesn't work. But if we do more of it, we might get a 1% return. Like, that's just bad practice. And I think there's.
But my point is, we're finally at a point now where people are kind of like, okay, what we thought was the way to do it isn't working anymore. We now need to look at alternatives, right? I'm a massive advocate for marketing within recruitment. I firmly believe that recruitment is now, more than ever, a marketing role, not a sales role. We shouldn't even be uttering the word sales in recruitment anymore, because to be a effective consultant, you need to be able to, you know, really drill down on what you're doing and be a specialist and market your skill set effectively to your target audience. And so, like, for me, I hate when people are like, you know, sales training, I need more sales training. No, you fucking don't. There's your problem. You're not a sales business. Stop treating yourself like a sales business. Start treating yourself as a consultancy. Now, if I'm setting up a consultancy tomorrow, I want to market myself as that consultancy. You know, this is the level of service that we provide. This is what we're good at. Not we're fastest finger first. You know, we can sell snow to an Eskimo. If there's a candidate out there that you really want, I can convince him to join your business. Fucking hell, mate. No, you can't. Not anymore. You can't.
Yeah.
You know.
What's constant is the need to do business development, but what's shifted is the emphasis of it being sales, and marketing has started to do this.
But business development isn't sales. This is where, again, I think language is so key. Business development is not sales, right? In the method that we use sales in the recruitment world, right? The square peg round hole thing, the convincing people to do business development is developing your relationships further. And so when you have a business that has a legacy of clients and, you know, they're struggling, the business itself is struggling, for whatever reason, the majority of business owners historically would go, we need more clients. We need to look outwards and try and get more clients on board. Where actually very few would turn around and go, I need to get more out of these who are already paying me. You know, I need to really firmly establish myself. They call it embedded now, but
both of those are BD though.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah,
absolutely. Sales is a component of BD, but it's a really small part.
But in our industry, BD gets confused with sales.
It does,
BD is purely sales, and it's not.
No, sales is like. I was saying this to a group of recruiters in Scotland recently that actually sales is probably like 15% of BD.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many other things that make up the fabric of BD. So if you're doing all your BD time is picking up the phone, bashing into switchboards or mobile numbers to talk to people and thinking you're going to close them on something, you're doing an abundance of 15% of what it takes to succeed, which is why you don't get the results. You've got to do the 85% with consistency to earn the right to do the 15%. And you have to earn the right to sell to people now. And in
which part of recruitment is sales then? In your opinion, because I genuinely I value your opinion a lot, right? But I can't see it anymore. Like where in the recruitment business or the recruitment journey or whatever you want to call it, where in recruitment does sales come in? What are you selling, and at what point are you selling it?
So I feel that selling begins when somebody says no and they are in the process of buying. So if I'm, like we were talking about the Ferrari, if I'm inquisitive about the Ferrari because I'm in the market for something that is a four-wheeled vehicle, and we start talking about your product and I go, no, it's not right for me, there needs to be some sales activity to really unpack and define what no is, to decide, do I need to push you out because we're not right for you, because your assessment is correct?
Is that not consulting?
I think it just gets a bit moot, really. I would call it sales, call it consulting. It's definitely not marketing.
No, it's not marketing, absolutely. Marketing is what got you through the door.
Marketing got me to the point of the tentative inquiry or the head turn or whatever else it may be.
Or okay, I'll give you 5 minutes on the phone because I've heard of your agency.
What shifted really quickly about 12 months ago, maybe a little more than that, companies that were hiring were working with agencies out of necessity. Because there were so many vacancies and so few candidates and the world was volatile. You phone me up and you tell me you specialise in recruiting mushroom farmers. I've got a mushroom farm.
Boom, here's a job. Yeah, I'll deal with it, yeah.
That's necessity driving the decision. Things then flipped really quickly that I didn't have to work with you out of necessity anymore. I would only work with you out of choice. And to make a choice, I need more education, and more education comes through marketing. So if there hasn't been any warming up, if there hasn't been anything really to help me to start to enter some kind of consideration phase, you're just a suspect phoning me from a suspicious agency. Just because you specialise in recruiting mushroom farmers and I've got a mushroom farm, no longer means you're the answer to my prayers, because I've got bigger issues and other things that I need to deal with, like the volatility of selling mushrooms in Europe. I
hear your point. Yeah, but then as an agency, I could sell you the concept of using me, or I could do the proven, validated method, which is, invite you to like my company page, show you content of stuff that proves that I am a mushroom specialist. I could invite you to a seminar, a webinar. I can send you some podcasts that I've appeared on. I can send you some content that I've released, some research that my agency's conducted, to really further validate the fact that I'm not a suspect. You now know, and I've validated to you that I am what I am, and now allow me to consult with you and work with you. Because again,
so we're now on a buyer's journey rather than a seller's journey, and because we're on a buyer's journey, we need to stop looking at them as being the prospect, and we need to keep looking at ourselves. Have I earned prospect status, or am I still a suspect? If I've earned prospect status, what do I need to do to become a contender? And as I start to look far more.
And this is where I think the issue is in our industry, is that we spend far too long trying to sell ourselves into prospect status than to earn it via consultative and marketing efforts.
I agree.
Which is why, I'm yet to kind of be convinced. It's not a sales position. We hire salespeople. We look for former car sales when I'm looking for a junior recruiter. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like, well, this is why the industry is in the state that it's in, because we're dealing with it in the wrong way. You're dealing with people. You can't sell people. Well, you used to be able to quite a few years ago. You don't do that.
Pushing
right?
statues over about that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Right? But like, if I want to sell you this couch, whether it's shit or not, whether it doesn't want to live on your farm or not, this couch is going with you, right? Because I can sell you this couch. I can't sell you somebody and say, Jeremy, I know you're hiring at the minute, I'm going to sell this person to you. Because that person will go, no, he's going to treat me like shit. The couch is not going to be like, I don't want to be on a farm. Like, he's going to treat me like shit. His dog's going to sit on me. He's going to piss on me, shit on me. I don't want to do it. But a person would be like, no, I don't want to do that. That's not I'm not about that, right? So you can't physically sell a person into a job. Just like you can't physically, you could never ever sell me a job that I don't want to do and convince me with all your sales prowess in the world that, okay, I'll go to the interview. You just couldn't. Because if it's a job I don't want to do, I ain't going to go and do it. And I don't think in recruitment historically, I think a lot's changed recently, but historically, I don't think we gave our candidates enough respect, and this sales bell mentality meant that we would put either the client on a pedestal and aim at them like a target, I'm going to sell to this person, or we had no respect for the client and we just went, well, they'll take whatever the fuck I send. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, but if you flip it, my job isn't to sell you the job. My job is to use my sales skills to qualify you out, so that I'm more likely to be working with people who actually want the job, rather than thinking my job is to convince you.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you to make a better decision.
That's a consultant,
like
though,
I
isn't it?
phone you.
That's a
and say,
consultant. You're a candidate, right? When you apply,
I think most consultants.
when you're applying to my job,
I think most consultants are salespeople. Unfortunately, we've got the wrong definition of sales, which is why 51% of salespeople are behind target. Because we define sales as being something that is the antithesis of consultancy, and because we define that as being sales, it then encourages people to think that if I'm going to go into sales, I go into sales because I'm really good at selling, but we've misdefined it. Consultancy is proper selling.
Sales is an activity in my mind.
I think it starts as like a mindset that drives a behaviour.
Yeah.
My job isn't to sell you this vacancy. My job is to ask you the right questions that helps you to decide, is it right for you?
But let's put it into then this journey you're about to embark on, which I wholeheartedly wish you the best of luck with it, and I really like what you're talking about here. But are you going to be selling your 4D recruitment method to businesses, or are you going to be consulting with them to say, you need this? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yes, but I laugh because we just have different words to describe the same thing. So yes, it's consultancy, but I would say it is a consultative sales process.
Okay, yeah.
Because ultimately a transaction will happen, but I'm not selling to create the transaction. I'm selling.
So
to
is the
help you to make a
transaction
better
element a
decision.
part of the sale? In which case, then people who work at McDonald's and ask you if you want to go large, are they selling? Is that a sale? Do you know what I mean? Are they salespeople? Right? And this is my point. I think we don't give we don't, but generally speaking, the recruitment industry doesn't get the respect that it deserves. But I think a part of that is the language that we use. Sales, it's a sales job, ring the sales bell, those activities and that language has driven a certain type of behaviour which has taken us down the rabbit hole where we're now like competing on price, margins are getting tight, or historically have been, where people are getting squeezed for, they're undercutting each other, and then you start going up the supply chain and expecting, cashback cuts and kickbacks from umbrella companies and so on and so forth, because you've kind of worked yourself into a corner, right? Whereas
because you can't sell,
or because it's not a sales role and you maybe approached it as I don't know. Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah, I'll take that, because you can't sell. Yeah,
you can't sell, right?
Or you can't market, or you can't consult.
There's either, like if you look at it really coldly, You have a service offering that fixes a problem. You have an audience that have the problem. If the service offering fixes the problem and they've got the problem, the only thing that's broken is you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And therefore it's your inability to be able to showcase to people the link between the problem and the service.
Yeah, I like that.
And your inability to showcase the link between the problem and the service is either you don't know what the problem is, so you're chasing the wrong problem, which is the vacancy, or you don't know what your service is because you think your service is finding candidates, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's about the 99 that you rejected.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not because I found Gordon.
No.
Gordon's worth $3,000. It's the work that you did to talk to all of the other people to arrive at the point to say Gordon is the one. And if we recruit
the 50 candidate CVs that you read through, the 10 that you spoke to, the 9 that you rejected for Gordon to get the job.
Based upon the details that you went through to really understand.
But it's explaining that though,
correct.
isn't it? That's the bit that recruiters seem to struggle with, by and large, right?
Which is BD.
Yeah.
How they communicate it in their marketing, how they communicate it in their LinkedIn profile. Like so many LinkedIn profiles just say, I specialise in recruiting Java engineers, I've been doing that for the last 5 years, I've got a really extensive understanding of engineering.
Yeah.
Well, what is the problem that you fix? And I was going to say even.
But that's marketing though. This is the point, right? Because that's marketing. It's the MP3 and the iPod conversation. MP3s existed for decades. You know, for a decade before the iPod came out. But the iPod wasn't just another MP3 player. The iPod was 1,000 songs in your pocket.
Yes.
Right? Because that was the problem it was solving, rather than going 16 gigabytes of data.
Yes.
Or however the language. Well, you know what I mean. And so but that's marketing language. It's looking at a problem and going, let me find a way of presenting what I do as a solution and not a service.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
And so this is why I'm always like, no, your consultants need upskilling on a lot of other things, marketing being one of them,
So
or a main one.
Journey of marketing. Even if I pick up the phone and we've never spoken before, and I ask you some questions, I maybe float with you, hey, sometimes people have this kind of problem, what are your thoughts on it? It's a marketing conversation. Because you haven't arrived at a point or declared to me that you're in buying mode. I have no evidence to suggest you're in buying mode, so why would I sell?
Yeah, you're going through it, yeah.
And then if you start to express an interest, we go into a discovery thing.
And then the selling part comes in because you're looking at trial closing and optional closes and all the rest of it, open questions. And
or saying you're not right for us.
Yeah, or qualify out. Yeah, no, which I completely agree with. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Right, okay, so 4D recruitment method, it's out, it's there. How do people get in touch with you to find out more about it, to kind of look at, actually, is this something I want to get involved in? You know, if there's a recruitment business owner out there that's watching this going, this guy talks my fucking language, I need him in to help steer my business to the direction I want it to be.
So there are different ways you can do that. If you want to be curious and have a little tiptoe, you can listen to the podcast, you can subscribe to a newsletter, you can connect to me on LinkedIn. If you actually want to investigate it a little further, drop me a message and let's have a meeting. Let's talk about it for 15 minutes and maybe I'll qualify you out.
I like that. Okay, and same with Rookie2Recruiter, you're still running the 14-day free trial?
14-day free
trial.
Everyone,
this comes out in October, so that will still be...
Totally.
Yeah, okay, brilliant.
14-day free trial, complete access, ungated, so you don't have to do the first module to see the second module. You just want to go and watch the last one, you can go and do that. If you want to
get a taster for where this is going to end you up,
get the team feedback on it, maybe put a team member on the sales thing, one on the delivery,
I like that.
Put someone on advanced, get them all to give it some kind of internal Google review, and you can either then walk away or you can remain. We don't take a credit card, so there isn't anything that you have to unsubscribe from committing to. It's a 14-day free trial. You don't have to remember it because you're not committing to anything other than saying maybe.
Yeah, just having a mooch.
Yeah. So if you say maybe, I'll look after the people to the best of my ability, and if they don't like it,
you need a salesperson. No, fair. Look, appreciate this. This has been really insightful, and I appreciate the back and forth. And as you know, got a lot of respect for your opinion and stuff on things. So, thank you, mate. So yeah, all the links for Jeremy's LinkedIn profile, the Rookie2Recruiter platform, the 14-day free trial, everything you need for reaching out to him to inquire about the 4D methodology. Keep on that, the 4D recruitment method. It is trademarked. Will all be in the description. Thank you once again for listening. New episodes drop every Wednesday. We'll see you again next week. Jeremy, thank you, mate. Appreciate this.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Lovely.
That was good. That was really good.
It's nice.
Oh. I like it when sometimes it just goes off on a slight tangent and then we're like, okay, we're on to something here. Let's unpick this a little bit.